reshaping themselves to get up to speed.
So your name is Start Loving.
I'm known as Loving.
Loving.
First name Start.
My question to you is, how do we reach that crucial point where then people see clearly that change is possible, that they see that, yes, you can go into the streets, we can start moving. How does that happen? How do we get there?
I think that's an excellent question. I would suggest that the hopeful form of that question, the useful form of that question is, how has it happened in the past? And how it has happened in the past, in every example I can think of, whether it's Tahrir Square or women's suffrage or civil rights or anti-apartheid, was when people of a level of discipline, courage, heart, vision, work ethic, rose to the level of their opposition and beyond. So the opposition, the corporations, Canada, the Canadian government that wants $2 trillion out of their tar sands, the coal industry, the Koch brothers, the oil industry, these folks aren't slackers. They aren't people of unrealism. Hey, you know what? We're Exxon. Let's work on oil exploration today and making toys tomorrow. They don't flit from issue to issue to issue. They decide what they care about, and then they go after it with everything they have and everything they are. I am not speaking with admiration for their goals. I'm speaking with realism as to what it takes. My generation, the free love generation, which was the free lust generation, decided, oh, we invented something new. We can be a bunch of slackers. We can be hippies, whatever. Well, yeah, you can. A farmer can't. They won't grow crops. I mean, it actually takes work to have a life. But we created this faux idea. Tragically and understandably, in my view, honestly, your group, the healthiest among you that realized we need to go occupy. Really, occupy? That's kind of like hanging out. It seems an awful lot like hanging out. Maybe it's more than that. For a few it is. But for most, hopefully, it's a stepping stone to realizing, no, actually hanging out isn't going to do it. But now that we've met some people that are serious, now let's see. And this is largely internal personal work, secondarily group work, largely personal work. It's not a consensus decision. Is there anything that I know of that is worth my life? And it's only when the answer has been yes that unviolent actors have brought about major change. The people in Tahrir Square, ultimately 100,000 of them, absolutely decided that standing up to Mubarak was worth their life. There was a 200,000-man torture police force whose job it was to imprison, kill, torture them into submission, the whole Egyptian population. So those guys, 100,000 of them, it is worth my life not to sit on the sidelines anymore. Two things happen when that happens. One, the human nervous system ignites to a level of intelligence, focus, and courage when someone finds something they're willing to die for that cannot be tapped any other way. It's the mother whose child is about to get run over, and she's got to mobilize and save that child. It's a whole new level of the nervous system. It's what happened to the 200 women suffragists in prison south of here. It's what happened to first a handful in Tahrir Square, and then when others saw their level of ignition, they said, yes, that's the way I'm supposed to be in this. So, tragically, and you guys that have come to Occupy, in a way have my admiration, and in a way my heart breaks for you, because the example my generation has given you is the worst example in human history, and you guys don't know what to do. Some of you, however, are asking the question, and it is not a collective thing. It is first an individual thing. Is there anything that I am willing to die for? Is it getting rid of Citizens United? Is it assuring that there's life support on this planet? Is it homelessness? And if the answer is I'm not sure or I don't know, then the only thing that matters is finding out if that's really the right answer for you. Have I really gotten deep enough into me that there's really nothing that's worth my life? And if the answer is no, we can't do any better than we can do. But if the answer is yes and you haven't found it, if you do the additional work to find it, now you've become a different creature. Now you have gone to the family emergency response. Dr. King, unless he was a fool, was explicit. A man, a woman is not equipped to fight. They are not equipped to live until they know what they would die for. Now, maybe he was just being foolish, but if we look at history, when unviolent actors have brought change, they've been there. Sometimes it was obvious, but not to the masses. There were only 200 women out of 1 million or more women that went to prison. It's always been non-obvious, except to the few that found it inside. But when they found it, and they lived it, they became the fact on the ground that the masses could see. Why are there millions of iPads sold? Not because anyone read the spec sheets, not because anyone got their hands on it first. They saw some early adapters go wild over it, and that was enough. Most of us are sheep. We just are. I'm not denigrating, we just are. But when they see a set of people that clearly have done their homework and are on fire, and it's so valuable they're willing to pay their life, that they see as fact on the ground. There's no amount of newspaper articles that can do that. And ranters in the street that don't have clear discipline, that aren't of the morality, the apparent morality, that middle America can look at and say, well, I'm not sure I would do that, but you know what? I think I admire that. Then they push middle America in the other direction. And it's actually the onlookers that saw the women in prison that could have said, oh, what a bunch of bums, that instead said, my God, look at the courage they're standing with. I get it. It's people going to the highest level for the right reasons that can re-spark the humanity in us all. It can't be acted. It can't be faked. But it can be found. We can dig deep into our hearts, some of us, and find it. And when we do, we ignite and others ignite. If there's anything clever in what I just said, it should be discounted. If it's a correct read of history, it should be embraced, because it's largely a history of what we are as human creatures. It's situational, but more than that, it's what we are as human creatures. And when we see something worth our life, we go to a whole new level, and by going to that whole new level, we deliver an information content to onlookers that can't be done any other way. I can't say that your future, by preserving life support, is worth your life, but I can be on a death fast here out of love for humanity, and some people with heart will see that and might say, I get it, that's right. It's worth my life too. There's no other way, and who would want there to be? I'm finishing a book, which is why I'm taking some calories now, today being the first day I am. I've put the death fast on hold until I finish the book, which is probably going to take another week. The book is, I haven't fixed the title yet, but it's basically resurrecting the insanely humane, unviolent warrior in you. And it is the methodology, it's a personal trainer that I've used on and off throughout my life, but refined for this action and for this purpose, that is an accelerated way of reshaping who we are. So when Gandhi said famously, be the change you want to see, do we think he was really saying, go act a different way? If someone decides to climb Mount Everest, did they just decide to act a different way? Or they decide on a regimen that was going to radically reshape their capacity to become the answer to climbing Mount Everest? That's what's behind what Gandhi said. Reshape yourself. Figure out what's needed from you to become the answer. And I've done that many times in my life. Most people think, oh, you have to be what you want to be. No, you have to be what humanity needs you to be. The stem cell comes into the body, and it doesn't say, oh, I want to be a brain cell. It says, what does the body need me to be? and it becomes that. That's what we need to do. That's what Alice Paul did. That's what Nelson Mandela did. He didn't say, oh, I want to go to prison for 30 years. He said, what's needed of me by the situation? I'm going to become that. And this personal trainer, I don't bet there are 5 people that will look at it. But if they're people of heart, it can give you guys in 30 days what took me 30 years of study and learning of all the greats that came before us. So that's why I'm choosing to keep going for another week here. I hope that helps.
It does. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'm going to upload this and hopefully share it with as many people as possible who are asking the same questions.
Yeah, send John a link to it.
I will, definitely.
And watch for the book. If you Google my name, Start Loving, the first book, which is called Global Warming's Death Fast, which I concluded last week, is up on that site. People should look at that. But the second book should be up on that same site within a week.
Thank you very much.
Glad to talk to you, brother.